Alright guys, so we're going to try something new today. We're going to do a bit of pre-recorded note-taking so that you can work at your own pace and pause and play as you go. This is not going to be the only way that I'm teaching, so no worries there. You haven't lost me as a personal um, teacher. We're just trying this out and see how you guys like it, okay? All right, so we are still under arithmetic with polynomials, and we're going to now be in pencil, and up here is how you'll see that I switch my color, so you're still going to need your other color. My other color is going to be red, my pencil is going to be black, and now you can actually see my lined paper, so that's nice. I will also post this into the Google Classroom, so that's going to help you if you need to go back or if you missed something, so you can go back and take a look at that. All right, so I'm going to do divide polynomials with remainders, capital R. And then this is all going to be divide polynomials with remainders, okay? And this subtitle would be monomial divisors. All right? Okay, and as you can see, I have my con open on the left to give me some example problems, all right? And so, first example. It says, let A of X, so A of X, and that's not A times X, that's a function notation, and it's A of X, all right? So we're going to grab our other color, and they're going to say that this is A of X, and it's just a function or a polynomial, okay? All right, so let me change the thickness, that is really just too fat, okay. Okay, so back to pencil, all right, and so we have 5, that's better, x to the 9th minus 8x to the 5th plus 4x cubed plus 8x. Okay, and then they say b of x, so we're just going to skip a line and write b of x right there equals x to the 4th. Okay, and they say when dividing a by b, we can find the unique quotient polynomial q and the remainder polynomial that satisfy the following equation. And they say a of x over b of x equals q of x plus r of x over b of x. Now remember, you can pause me and then push play when you need to if I go too fast, okay? All right, so now we're going to grab the other color. All right, and I'm going to talk about these first. So this guy is called the dividend, okay? So, let's see, I'm going to write that over here. So this is dividend. And that's the thing that's being divvied up, dividend, okay? The bottom is called the divisor. It equals the quotient plus the remainder over, and then see, that's b of x again. So that's that guy. That's the divisor again. All right, now we're still in our other color. I'm going to show you that you actually already know this little guy here, okay? We're going to relate this to, like, oops, did not mean to write that. That is not a plus or minus. Okay. We're going to relate this guy to just simple division. All right, so we're going to do 11 divided by 2. All right, well, how many times does 11 go into 2? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it goes 5 times. And then how much do we have left over? Well, it went 2, 4, it went 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That made 10. So but we were trying to get to 11, so we had 1 left over. All right, so that's really, there we go. That's 10. And then there's 11. So we have 1 left over. So 11 divided by 2 is the same as 5 and a half. Now, a lot of times we write that as 5 and a half. Don't write this, but we write it as 5 and a half like this, or we write it as 5.5. But really what it means is 5 plus a half. Okay? All right. Or you can write that if you want to. I'm going to leave it. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my pencil. So see this little guy? That's the leftover guy. There he is, the remainder. Okay? And these are the big guys. These are how many groupings we get. We get 5 groupings. 1, 2, of 2. 5 groupings of 2. And then half of a grouping, or 1 over 2. All right, so that's the quotient. That's the big guy. That's the main point. And then this is the remainder. That's the little leftovers, okay, divided by and then the portion of the divisor. All right, so back to this. Now it says, what is q of x? Okay, so then they want to know what is, so we haven't even written the full problem yet, q of x, okay, and then I'm just going to put r of x, question mark. All right, so here's the question in a nutshell. Alrighty, so now we're going to try it out. Well, if you notice, b of x, all right, so back to our other color, b of x is a monomial. So our divisor, the divisor is a monomial. What does a monomial mean? Well, mono means single, okay, polynomial. So it's a single thing. It's just one term. Okay? All right. So if it's just one term, then all you have to do is you just split up so I switch back to pencil. I just split up each one of these guys with this. So, all right, so now I'm going to come down here and do my work. So, yeah, let's see here, right here. A of x over b of x equals 5x to the 9th minus 8x to the 5th plus 4x cubed plus 8x all divided by, that's a plus sign, x to the 4th. That's hideous. Okay, now, because it's a monomial, I just take this, okay, so switch to the other color. I just take this and go boop, 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 boop. Okay, a monomial can be split between each one of the terms. You cannot do this for any other one, okay, but a monomial can just go to each one. The reason why, I mean, you could do a binomial to each one also. It just wasn't being very helpful, I guess. So it's not that it's the only thing that can do it. It's just that because we only have a monomial, then we're going to be able to simplify. So we're going to be able to cancel stuff, okay? All right, so then that's 5x to the 9th. And, when you're taking notes, since you can see my blue lines now, I highly recommend you skip the same kind of spacing and all that. Make your notes nice and pretty. Over x to the 4th, see? Minus 8x to the 5th over x to the 4th plus 4x cubed over x to the 4th plus 8x over x to the 4th. Okay? So this equals, now, this is remember how if you don't see anything in front of it, what is that? Grab the other color. It's a 1. And if you don't see an exponent, what is that? It's a 1. All right. Now, if you don't see a letter at all, that's a 0, right? But if you don't see an exponent, it's a 1. All right, now we're ready. So 5 divided by 1 is 5. Now, when we multiplied like bases, we added the exponents. So when we divide, so I'm going to say that again, when we multiplied like bases, so like x squared times x cubed. Oh, notice I changed my other color. Sorry. When you see me go do that, though, that's your cue to grab your other color. What was that? What do we do to those? We add them. That's x to the 5th. Good. And then, so now, if we're going to divide them, let me put my 3 on top, x to the 3rd over x squared. What do you think we do to those? Well, if these we add, when we multiply, we add, then when we divide, we're going to, well, division is like the opposite of multiplication, so we're going to subtract. So that's going to equal x to the 1st. All right, so here we go. So now back to pencil. That's going to be x to the 9 minus 4, so it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's going to be 5. Minus 8 divided by 1 is 8. And then 5 minus 4 is 1. Okay, now you stop. Now this one is smaller. Switch to red. Sorry. The wrong one. Okay, it's smaller. So stop. Okay. So this, because 3 is smaller than 4, then I know that everything else after it, if they're in numerical order like we've been practicing with standard form, then I know that the rest of it is the remainder. So I'm just going to write the rest of it all as one thing over just x to the 4th. So that's 4x cubed plus 8x over x to the 4th. Okay, so there's the quotient, and that was the leftover stuff. So we just put all the leftovers over one thing. So I know that can be confusing because you might think that you like write that twice, but you don't. It was one thing that got split up into 4, and then so if I put it back together, it's one thing again. Okay, so now, if I get it right, sometimes I make silly mistakes too, so that's always embarrassing when I'm doing a video. 5x to the 5th minus 8x. Okay, so that's the quotient. Okay, and what can be really frustrating about these is they have the quotient and the remainder question. So if you get one wrong but the other one right, like you did something silly, it still counts the whole thing wrong. But make sure you look at it and see what you missed. Okay, so then, and then the remainder is not this whole thing. Where's the remainder? It's just the top guy that goes over the divisor. So it's just the leftover stuff that couldn't be divided by the divisor. Okay, so 4x to the 3rd plus 8x. Yay! All right. Oh, and I should write my answer here because I did not answer the question in my notebook, which is very important so that I can be successful in the future. All right, so, oh, I don't want to equal those, so I'm just saying q of x, right, equals 5x to the 5th minus 8x. And notice you don't put to the first, remember, Con doesn't like that. All right, so I'm going to box that one. That's one answer. And then r of x, so it would be equals 4x cubed plus 8x. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Now we're going to do another one that's nice and pretty. You probably still have half a page left, so that's good. All right, we're going to do one nice and pretty and not so many like side notes around it. Okay. All right, so skip a space. Example. A of x equals 5x to the 10th. That was like 16. Let me try that again. Minus 9x to the 8th. Minus 9x to the 5th. Plus 7x. And then I'm just going to put a little semicolon here. And b of x equals x to the 5th. Okay. And then the instructions are a of x over b of x. All right. Equals the quotient plus the remainder over divisor. Write it every time. Not going to get it if you don't write it out. And the Q and R are very helpful. Quotient, remainder, right? Just like the words. Right? We want to know Q of x equals what? And R of x equals what? All right. So what do we want to do first? Well, it kind of gives it to you in the question. You want to write A over B. So first we're going to write 5x to the 10th minus 9x to the 8th minus 9x to the 5th plus 7x all over x to the 5th. Well, then that divides to each one of those. Okay. So then that's 5x to the 10th over x to the 5th. And I'm going to put a 1 in front of my x. Minus 9x to the 8th over x to the 5th. Minus 9x to the 5th over x to the 5th. Plus 7x over x to the 5th. Now I'm going to search for my remainder. Do that part first. Also, if the remainder goes to a minus sign here, make sure you get that in there when you write the net. So like if this were part of the remainder, which it's not in this case, but if it were, then I would write negative 9x to the 5th. So don't forget that minus sign, okay? All right, but I look, and this is bigger than the bottom. Bigger than 10 is bigger than 5. 8 is bigger than 5. 5 is bigger than or equal to, you can still subtract those. So we're okay, but then now this is a 1, and 1 minus 5 is going to give me negative exponents, so I'm not going to do that. So this is the only remainder. Okay? All right, now I just reduce these. So, 5 divided by 1 is 5. 10 minus 5 is 5. Minus 9 divided by 1 is 9. 8 minus 5 is 3. Minus 9 divided by 1 is 9. 5 minus 5 is 0. Plus 7x over x to the 5th. All right, now, x to the 0, you just don't write it. Anything to the 0, remember when we were talking about, like, there is no x, that's a 0. Okay, so x to the 0 is a 1, really. So you just don't write the x to the 0. Okay, so then that equals 5x to the 5th minus 9x cubed minus 9 plus 7x over x to the 5th. I highly recommend you use 2 lines for fractions, guys. All right, so my quotient, but you don't just give a space between each one here if you don't want to. It's just, it makes it nicer looking for my note taking. Okay, so Q of x is the stuff that doesn't have the leftovers. So 5x to the 5th minus 9x cubed minus 9. And then the remainder, r of x, is just the top. And it's positive, so I'm just going to write 7x. I'm not even going to write, but if it were negative, if it were minus, I would write negative 7x. Okay? All right, so 5x to the 5th minus 9x to the 3rd minus 9, and then 7x. Okay, all right, last one. Any new page for this one? Okay, all right, so one more example, and then you're on your own. All right, a of x equals 4x to the 4th plus 2x squared minus x plus 1. B of x equals x squared. And when we do a of x over b of x equals quotient plus remainder over divisor, then we want to know q of x. I know you don't feel like writing it. Too bad. Write it anyway. It's good for you. All right. So first, I'm going to write 4x to the 4th plus 2x squared minus x plus 1 all over x squared, which is 4x to the 4th over x squared plus 2x squared over x squared minus x over x squared plus 1 over x squared. Now I'm going to look for bigger, or same. And then these are smaller. So I just need to do these two. So that's 4 divided by 1 is 4. And then 4 minus 2 is 2. Plus 2 divided by 1 is 2. And then x squared divided by x squared, those cancel, or in other words, they make 0, so that's it. All right. And then plus negative x plus 1 all over x squared. So see what I did there? If it starts with a minus, I just went ahead and wrote plus and then negative x plus 1. You could write a minus, but if you wrote minus and then x plus 1 over like this, you would actually be wrong because this minus like this means that it goes here and here, like distributing. These are hidden parentheses. So if I just say if your remainder leads with a negative, then just write plus and then negative so that and then put that, make sure the bar goes all the way under that negative. Okay? All right, so let me erase that. And then let's make a note of that. Starts, so r of x starts with minus, so do plus and then negative. That was terrible. Like that. Okay. All right. Or you can put minus, but if you put a minus out here, then it's got to be x minus 1 because you got to change the sign then of everybody. Okay. So I think this way is a little easier. All right. So then now we're ready. Q of x equals 4x squared plus 2. And r of x equals negative x plus 1. All right. All right. Okay, so that's the end of that, and now you can go back to your Google Classroom and do the practice. So do the monomial division in Khan Academy. Make sure you work on it until you are satisfied with your grade. It must be passing, okay, to move on. And then if you have any grades that are passed, that are like Khan Academy grades that you need to be doing to get a better grade, then please feel free to do that if you finish before your peers. All right. Thank you very much.